What's up, Foxy People? Welcome back to my channel. Today we're talking once again about my favorite thing in this entire world, Disney. This is part 2 of my Disney planning kind of videos. I did do a part 1, which was basically my tips and tricks for large families and stuff, planning the actual trip. These tips today are going to be more while you're already there, things to remember while you're at the parks. I myself have a large family to begin with. We have 6, and then my immediate family is 14, and that's the group that we went with to Disney World last time. And as I explained in the first part, I did all the planning, and I was looking for tips to help out a larger group, and there really wasn't many online. I spent hours and hours of video watching and reading articles and that kind of stuff. So I kind of formulated my own plans and my own strategies, I guess. Again, a lot of that is in part 1. These tips and tricks, it wouldn't matter if you have a large group of 14 or just 2 people. These tips will still help you. And my goal is that you don't have to watch hours of videos like I did. Hopefully this one video will answer all your questions. So let's get into it. So I actually already filmed all of this. But because I ramble and try and give life experiences and try and give you as much information as possible, it ended up being 2 hours long. So I'm just refilming everything, and I'm gonna hopefully keep it shorter by just kind of brushing over the details. And then if there are topics that need more detail, I'll make a separate video for that. One little disclaimer I do have to add is that these tips and tricks work for normal times. I'm filming this January 2021, so right now we're still in the middle of a pandemic, and obviously rules are different everywhere, especially at theme parks. So these rules and tips and tricks very well could still help you out even in this time, but some of them are based more on normal time. So let's start with what to bring. Everybody's park bag is going to look completely different, and yes, I have a separate video coming for that. Actually, it's the next one after this in the Disney lineup. But everybody's bag is going to be completely different. It depends on if you have younger kids and need to bring bottles and diapers and that kind of stuff, or if you're just a childless couple going by yourself, or a girls' weekend, something like that. Everybody's bag is going to look different. But the generic thing to pack in your bags are just basic daily necessities. Sunscreen, sunglasses, snacks. Disney allows you to bring your own food and drinks, so snacks, refillable water bottles. There are water filling stations all around the park, and you could even go to a quick service restaurant and they'd fill it up for you as well. Keep in mind that security has to check every pocket in every bag and every zipper. So to make your process and your line go a little bit quicker, just try and unzip all the pockets before you even get up to security. They'll appreciate it. You won't be held up so much. I do know they're starting to implement virtual checks. I don't know what they're called, but instead of actually going through the security guard, you just kind of walk through an x-ray machine like you do at the airports almost. And that's been speeding up the process, trying to do a lot of contactless issues with everything going on in the world. So I know they're starting to implement those, but if you do have to go through a standard security guard line, just make sure that you open up all your zippers and get any bags ready for them. Disney World is a lot of walking. A lot of walking. Even for someone that doesn't have little legs or sore legs or something like that, my legs kill me after a couple days there, actually even after one day there. So if you have kids, especially, even if they don't use a stroller at home, it's a very smart idea to bring one or rent one. You can rent strollers, electronic scooters, as well as wheelchairs at any of the Disney parks, or you can go through a third-party rental company. I personally believe, and what we did do on our last trip, was we rented from a third-party company. If you rent from Disney World, you have that stroller or wheelchair only for the time that you're at the parks. Now, you can rent what they call length of stay, so you can pay for the full amount that you're there. But that doesn't guarantee you that you'll have one. They do first come, first serve. So if you get to the park later and they're all sold out, maybe they'll refund you. I don't know how that happens or how that works out. But not only that, B, they're extremely uncomfortable. Like, Disney has the hard plastic strollers with barely any storage. And then just the basic, like, hospital type wheelchairs. And you have to pick it up when you get to the park and leave it when you get to the park. So if you're going to Disney Springs or Universal or even around your hotel, you don't have that stroller or a wheelchair or scooter. Whereas if you rent from a third party, they drop it off to your hotel the day you arrive and they pick it up the day you leave. So it is yours as if you brought it from home for your entire trip, no matter where you go, no matter what you're doing. It is yours. And they are a lot more comfortable, especially the strollers. We got the double stroller for my niece and nephew last time. It was more of the fabric and cushiony type material, and there was storage on the bottom, storage on the top, well, like cup holders and stuff. And it was just a better product. It was better that we had them for when we went to resort hopping or anything like that. My uncle also got one of the electronic scooters, which really helped him walk around the hotels and that kind of stuff. And the pricing really isn't that different when you compare them both. Maybe $5, $10 difference, but again, it's yours for the entire time that you're there. I'll put a price list up right here, and I'll also have it as a PDF on my blog if you want to print it off yourself. So like I said, even if your children don't normally use it at home, like my 5-year-old niece, when we went, she doesn't use a stroller. Even my 3-year-old nephew really don't use a stroller at home. But we got one for the trip because, again, so much walking, their little legs, it takes a lot out of them. And it's somewhere for them to nap and take a little rest throughout the day. So this isn't really something you're going to find in any other article or video. It's something that we kind of came up with. Again, because we had such a large group, we kind of almost needed it. It's more of a peace of mind rather than like a tip and or trick. And it's what we call the loss plan. Again, Disney World is huge and there is a ton, hundreds of thousands of people in each park every day. It only takes a split second for you to look away and get distracted by something, or a child to look away and get distracted by something and the rest of the group walks off. We had that happen. It happens so quick. No one ever wants to think that it's going to happen to them until it does. And it's the most heart-dropping experience ever. So basically we had two plans. One was like the day of, if somebody got lost throughout the day. And what that was once we entered a park, we found like a big landmark, say the castle, the Tree of Life, the Epcot ball, anything like that. We found a big landmark that even the littles would understand or know how to say they have to get back to it. So we picked out the landmark, and we also pointed out cast members, the name tags specifically, because in each land, in each park, in each area, they have different costumes. So you can't really point out the costume and say, like, look for the light blue shirt, because every character, every area has a different costume. Very pretty, but different, and can be confusing to children. So we pointed out the name tags. Kind of made it fun, like, oh, so-and-so is from here. Oh, so-and-so is from here, because it names where they live or where they're from on their name tag as well. Seems like kind of a safety issue, but I understand what they're doing with it. So once we find our landmark, we find a specific spot around that landmark. Obviously the castle's huge. The Tree of Life takes 10 minutes to walk around, so you can't just say the Tree of Life. So we find a specific spot, and even if it's not one of those bigger spots, pick something, a restaurant, a child care center, like whatever the case is. It's just, we figured out that these would be easier for the littles and the other kids to notice than like a child care center tucked off somewhere. You know what I mean? So if the child happened to notice that they got lost, they got mixed up from their group, they were to wait for what felt like 2 minutes or so. And if that group didn't return, if the group didn't return to them, then they were to go find a cast member and say, this is our meetup spot, I need to go there. And then the group, once noticing that the child is missing, retrace their steps to try and find that child. And not only that, like retrace their steps all the way to that meetup point. I mean, we really didn't have to worry about this with the littles because they were constantly holding hands with an adult or an older kid. Like we always had our eye on them. But then the 10 to 16-year-old, we kind of let them have a little more leniency and whatnot. And sure enough, it happened to the 10-year-old where he got distracted by Chip and Dale dancing at Animal Kingdom. And the rest of the group didn't realize that he had stopped for a sec, so we kept walking. And just like that, he looked around and we were gone. Thankfully, he knew to stay in that spot, and it was only maybe a minute. We turned around, we noticed he was not with us, turned around and caught up with him. But he was so scared, rightfully so. Like that's very intimidating. There's a lot of people there. And then number 2 was our leaving plan. If you've ever been to Disney World and you've watched one of the fireworks shows and tried to leave the park right afterwards, you know exactly why we developed a leaving plan. Thousands of people trying to leave at the same time through the one entrance, it gets crazy. And of course, nobody walks the same way. This is another reason why we had the lost plan throughout the day too. Like everybody's walking this way, that way. They don't care if they cut you off, anything like that. So leaving the park, we didn't have it at first, but we did develop it after the first night, because leaving the park and trying to make sure that all 14 people are still with us was just insane, because you look away from one group for a second and that other group walks off, or another group walks in between you and you get disconnected, right? So what we did was everybody had to grab a buddy, and this included the adults. Obviously, the littles were in the stroller with my brother and sister-in-law, but all the kids, all the adults, we had to grab a buddy and go. I was teamed up with my mom a couple times. Like, you just grab your buddy and head to the front. Don't worry about anybody else. Don't worry if they're with you. Just go to the front. Get to the front as easy as you can. And then once you're out of the entrance, go off to the side and wait for the rest of the group. And that seemed to work out perfectly. And lastly, with this category is make sure your kids know about stranger danger. Obviously, Disney World's the happiest place on earth, and we've never heard of any issues going on, but I mean, it only takes that once, right? So remind people, or remind kids that, like, yes, people are very friendly, but not too friendly. So like I said, Disney World's huge, and it doesn't include just the parks. It's all the hotels, Disney Spring, the water parks, the ESPN World of Sports. Like, it's massive. It's the size of 2 Manhattan islands. And how are you going to get around everything? Thankfully, Disney offers complimentary transportation for all of their resort guests. Even if you drove to Orlando or drove to Disney World, you can just park your car and use the complimentary transportation for your entire trip. So the Magical Express is the bus that takes you to and from the airport. It also brings your luggage for you, so you don't even have to worry about going to the baggage claim and waiting for it and picking it up and whatnot. It does take about 3 hours to get into your room, but you can just hop on the bus, go to your resort, check in, and go to the pool or go to the parks or go shopping at Disney Springs or whatever. And once you get back to your room, your luggage will be there. Same as the day that you are departing, they have a baggage check right at the resort, like right at the hotel. So you don't have to worry about doing it at the airport. You do it all at the hotel. And again, like us, our flight out wasn't until 6 o'clock, but we had to check out of our hotel at 11. So we checked out, did our baggage check, and had our carry-ons we brought to the park with us, or you can even leave them at concierge. But we did our baggage check and went to the park for a couple more hours, and then we came back, waited for our Magical Express to bring us to the airport, and our luggage was there by the time we got there. Keep in mind that if you're arriving or leaving between 10 p.m. and 8 a.m., you do have to carry your own luggage because they don't do that service. And of course, if you prefer to grab your own baggage, you're absolutely allowed to. Disney buses from your hotel to the parks, they run 45 minutes before the earliest park opens and 2 hours after the latest park closes. No buses will run from resort to resort, but if you are resort hopping, you can take a bus from your resort to one of the parks and then jump on the bus to that other resort from that park. They also run to all the water parks, Disney Springs, and ESPN World of Sports as well. Now the monorail looks like a futuristic train. The littles absolutely loved riding this, and this connects the Polynesian, Contemporary, Grand Floridian, and the TTC all to the Magic Kingdom. The TTC is where you have to park when you're going to Magic Kingdom. It's a parking lot for Magic Kingdom. The other three parks have parking lots like right at the park, but Magic Kingdom's parking lot is a whiles away. So you have to take either the monorail or the boat from the TTC to the park. And this runs from, it starts at 30 minutes before the earliest park opens and runs an hour after the latest park closes. They also have the boat that connects Magic Kingdom to Grand Floridian, Polynesian, Fort Wilderness, and again the TTC. The times for this changes with destination and weather, of course, so you just have to check the times guide at your resort or on the app. It also connects Epcot and Hollywood Studios to Boardwalk Inn, Yacht and Beach Club, and the Swan and Dolphin hotels. And it also connects Disney Springs to Port Orleans, both of them, Old Key West, and Saratoga Springs. The newest form of transportation that Disney has come out with is the Skyliner. It just opened up last year, and this connects Hollywood Studios and Epcot to Caribbean Beach, Art of Animation, Pop Century, and Riviera Resort. As of right now, I'm sure they'll add on different loading points at some point. And keep in mind that the Disney buses are traveling less frequently to these specific hotels because they want to get their money's worth. They want you to ride the Skyliner. It wasn't open when we went, so I haven't rode it yet, but a lot of people online absolutely love it. It's constantly moving unless it has to load a wheelchair. No, it doesn't even stop if it has to load a wheelchair. They Disney magicked it. So, I mean, yes, there was a breakdown in the beginning, but I haven't heard any problems with it since. And then, of course, you can do Uber, Lyft, minivans. Minivans will go anywhere on Disney World property. If you're going off of Disney World property, say Universal Studios, or like we went to Walmart to get our groceries, you would have to use just a regular cab or an Uber or a Lyft. If you decide to drive to the parks, you don't have to pay for parking at the parks as long as you're a Disney resort guest because you paid for parking at your resort. If you're staying off property, you do have to pay for parking at the parks, but if you're doing park hopper and going to more than one park, you only pay once. You don't have to pay at 4 different parks. If you're relying on Disney transportation, give yourself enough time to make it to your fast passes or your dining reservations or something like that. You never know what can happen. Something can always happen, right? So just give yourself enough time, 45 minutes to an hour and a half, I would say. Don't try and get on the bus 5 minutes before your reservation because you're not going to make it. Another quick tip, if you know you're going to be late for your reservation or your fast pass reservation, modify it on the app. Either cancel it if you're going to be super, super late or you're not going to make it at all. Cancel it so that other people can get a chance to get that fast pass, especially if it's one of those like hard to get ones. Same thing with reservations. And my quick tip, pay attention to either your driver's name or like a bus number or something like that. When me and my husband went one time, I ended up losing my phone on the Magic Express from the airport. Thankfully, we noticed the driver's name. It's posted right up on the front. I think it was like, we thought it was a really cool name or something, so we were talking about it. So then when I realized that I left my phone on the bus, I was able to say, this is the bus I was on, this is my driver, so they even know what shift you were on. So instead of saying, oh, I lost my phone yesterday on the bus, well, what time were you on it? I don't know. It narrows it down so much easier. I even do that at home when I get into cabs. as I'm walking up to the door, I look at the number of the cab. So then that way, if anything happens, if you forgot anything, you can call and like narrow down the search, and you're more likely to get back what you need. My Disney experience. This is one of those things I'm gonna do a separate video on because there's so much information when it comes to this, but this is absolutely, if you bring nothing else with you for your vacation, or you don't do any other planning, this is the one thing that you should get. You need to download the My Disney Experience app. It has so much information on here. You can honestly even book your whole trip on this app. All your dining reservations, your fast passes, your park tickets, your hotel room key, your Magical Express information, wait times at all the parks, where the characters are meeting and at what time, photo pass photos, ride information like height, age, if it's dark or a fun ride, if it spins, if it's scary, if it drops, all that information. If it's temporarily closed, you can link your whole party and do the plans for them. This is where you would modify or cancel plans as well. It's literally everything. This is also where you're going to find mobile ordering, which is another thing I'm going to talk about in just a couple minutes, but that's going to be on this app as well. Keep in mind, bring an external hard drive or an external charger, because if you're on your phone all day, it's definitely going to drain out your battery. So bring an external charger. If you don't have one, you can buy a fuel rod at the airport, and there's fuel rod stations all over the parks. You can just swap them out. I think it's like $30 for the first purchase, and then you swap them out for free for all of eternity. Extra Magic Hours is where one park will open an hour early to resort guests before it opens to the regular public, or stay open 2 hours later than it closes to the regular public. This is completely different than the after hours parties that they have sometimes throughout the year. Those are separate ticket events. Extra Magic Hours, you don't pay anything extra. It's one of the perks for staying on property. Keep in mind that typically the park that has the early Extra Magic Hours will be the busier park that day. And they're never both the same. So the 1 hour in the morning and the 2 hours at night, they're not going to be the same park. It will be like Magic Kingdom has the hour in the morning and Epcot has the 2 hours at night. But every day is different, and every day has them. And you'll be able to see those hours and what parks have them on the My Disney Experience app. If you have a park hopper, the best way to utilize this, I would say, is go to the park that has the extra hour in the morning, and then once that park starts getting busier, check the app and see which parks has lower wait times. Park hop to that park, spend the day there, and then park hop to the park that stays open an extra 2 hours. That is how to get your money's worth and a full day of Disney. FastPass Plus is a free service that's only offered at Disney World. Disneyland offers the Max Pass, but you have to pay for it. All rides have a line, whether it's 5 minutes or 280 minutes. Yeah, Flight of Passage, I'm looking at you. But FastPass helps you skip the line essentially. They do only have a limited amount of fast passes per ride, per time slot, per day. So you have to get on and book them right as your window opens. And some of those rides book up so fast, you may not even get a chance to get them. This is another topic I'm going to make a whole separate video about, because there's so much information about it and tips and tricks on how to get better fast passes and that kind of stuff. If you're staying on property, you get 3 fast passes per day, and you can book them 60 days out from your arrival date. If you're staying off property, you get 1 at a time, and you can only book it 30 days out. Once you've used all 3 that you originally got, you can book more if they're available. It's just another perk for staying on property. If you didn't originally get the fast passes that you want, keep an eye on the app and keep refreshing. Some days those hard to get rides become available even the same day, like the day of that you're looking at them. because people have canceled or modified them. So just keep refreshing and keep an eye on it. Even if you got stuck with one that you really didn't care about, maybe you can switch it out. I would suggest 2 things when it comes to fast passes. 1, make sure that you screenshot your fast passes for that day and set it as your lock screen on your phone. So then if you have to refresh or try and remember when your fast pass is, all you have to do is pick up your phone rather than going through the app and trying to find them. And number 2, the thing that helped us tremendously, measure your kids ahead of time. You can check the app at home before you even have park tickets if you want. So measure your kids if you have younger kids and you're questioning whether they're going to be able to fit on a certain ride or not. Measure them at home, and then you can compare on that ride, see the ride height, and see if they'll be able to ride it. That way you know ahead of time. You don't have to get them ramped up for a ride, get to the ride and find out that they can't ride it.
Hey guys, editing Mandy here. I realized that there's 2 parts that for some reason the audio got extremely staticky and wasn't working properly. So going on checking your kid's height. We did this with my nephew. I had my brother check my nephew and niece's heights just to be safe. My niece could go on pretty much everything but 2 rides. And my nephew, he was only 3, right? So he could only go on so many that we thought. We were going by Slinky Dog Dash. And my brother was like, you know what? Let's just test him out. It has been like 2 months since I measured his height. So let's just check it out. So we went up to the measuring thing at Slinky Dog Dash. And he was just on the line. It was absolutely perfect. Our entire group screamed and cheered. He was so excited. The cast members were cheering. People around us were cheering. It was hilarious. And I think that is going to be everybody's favorite memory from the entire trip. I'm going to let the pictures speak for themselves.
Speaking about rides, we have Rider Swap. This is a plan or a system that was implemented to help parents that have children that cannot or don't want to ride certain rides. So for example, say you have a mom and a dad and 2 kids, one that wants to go on the ride, one that is too small or doesn't want to go. One parent, say dad, waiting with the kid that doesn't want to go, and mom goes on the ride with the other kid, and then you get a rider swap, scan both bands, and then mom and kid ride the ride, they come off. Dad can then go through the fast pass line, not have to wait in the standby line, even if you don't have a fast pass for it. Dad can then go through fast pass line and ride the ride while mom waits with the other kid. Now, usually you get 2 other people that the second person can go with. So then that kid that wants to ride gets to ride again. So Park Hopper and Park Hopper Plus, I spoke about a little bit earlier. This is basically, it's an added price to your park ticket, and it allows you to go to any of the parks you want. So basically, your base ticket allows you entrance to 1 park. Park Hopper, which is an extra $60 on top of your base ticket, this allows you to go to all 4 parks in one day if you choose to. You can use the Disney transportation to get to and from, or even your own car if you drove. Keep in mind, your original 3 fast passes that you book for staying as a resort guest, they do have to be at the same park. Additional fast passes, if you book any afterwards, can be at any park you want. Park Hopper Plus is $80 on top of the base ticket, and this allows you to go to not only all 4 parks, but both water parks, ESPN World of Sports, the golf course, and both mini golf courses. So it gives you entrance to all of those different options if you want to. Rope drop is not something that you'll hear cast members talk about or see posted anywhere because it's not a real thing. It's kind of just what Disney fans and Disney Park always kind of came up with. The name stemmed from when the park had a physical rope that they would drop at the beginning of the day to open up the parks. And people best utilize this for, say you didn't get a fast pass for Flight of Passage or Seven Dwarfs Mine Train or whatever. If you didn't get a fast pass for one of those rides, then a lot of people will rope drop those rides, meaning that they're there half an hour, 45 minutes before the park even opens, so that when the park does open and the rope drops, they run straight to that ride. Like I said before, the park that has extra magic hours is going to theoretically be the busiest park that day, or at least it used to be. The opening of Galaxy's Edge has kind of changed that up a bit. So if you're not a resort guest and you're trying to rope drop, hopefully it's not a park that had extra magic hours, or it's kind of going to be pointless for you. Now keep in mind, this is a very popular option. So it's not like you can go 5 minutes before the park opens and run to your favorite ride and be on it first thing, because a lot of people do rope drop, especially if they didn't get fast passes for that ride. So unless you're there like half an hour to an hour before park opens and get right up to the front of the line, you're still going to have a decent wait even with rope drop. But at least it won't be like a 4-hour wait. Mousekeeping is Disney's word for housekeeping. Now the reason I included it on this video, like, okay, housekeeping, big deal, every hotel has it, blah, 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 right? The reason I included it in this video is because they have recently come out with the fact that you can opt out of mousekeeping and they'll give you a Disney gift card. Currently, only value and moderate resorts are doing this. Deluxe resorts are not doing this. But basically, if you opt out of it, that means you won't have a mousekeeper come to your room. If you need extra towels or your garbage taken out or anything like that, you can always call the front desk or concierge and they'll bring it for you. Or just put your garbage outside of your door, that kind of stuff. They'll even bring you new sheets if you need. So it is a digital gift card. However, we did have an issue where one of us didn't get the email with the digital gift card, so they just gave us like a physical one. Now, the amount of your gift card will depend on the amount of nights that you're staying there. An easy way to do the calculations I found was add a 0 to the number of nights that you're there, add a 0 and then minus 10. So for 2 nights, it would be a $10 gift card. For 5 nights, it would be a $40 gift card. For 14 nights, it's a $130 gift card, etc. If you decide to opt out, please still leave them a little tip on that last day, because someone will have to be cleaning your room, possibly even a deeper clean since they haven't been there all week. So be nice, leave them a little mousekeeping tip. Memory Maker and Photo Pass. This is one of those things that are completely different right now. Yes, Disney World still has Photo Pass. Unfortunately, I know Disney has just laid off like 25,000 Photo Pass employees or something like that because of the pandemic. So hopefully they will all get their jobs back very soon. I feel for you. I am laid off as well, so I completely understand. But in normal times, Disney World is the most photogenic place on Earth, I would say. Maybe not on Earth, but I mean the atmosphere, the landscaping, all the meet and greets, all the ride photos. Like, there's so many photo opportunities. And usually if you're in a group, someone's missing out of that photo, unless you can ask a nice person passing by to take a photo for you. But you also risk the chance of it being blurry or being too dark or out of focus or anything like that. Not with PhotoPass and Memory Maker. So PhotoPass is actually the photographers that take the photo for you. And if you have My Disney Experience, you just scan your band and it all goes into your My Disney Experience app, and then you can download and purchase them from there if need be. They take pictures at all the meet and greets when they have them. At all the meet and greets, they have photos. They're all around the parks, like in front of the castle and in front of the Tree of Life and all that kind of stuff. Like they're scattered throughout the parks at like the most obvious or popular photo taking places, so that they can take your picture for you. And there's also rides that will take your picture during the ride, like Space Mountain does it, Rock and Roller Coaster, usually on big drops or like takeoffs or something. The ride does take a photo of your facial expression. So all of those photos are available to you on My Disney Experience. Memory Maker is the package that you pay one price and you get all your photos together. So like I said, the pictures will be uploaded into My Disney Experience and you can purchase them and download them. But I think they're about like $15 to $20 a photo. But with Memory Maker, you purchase, it's a one-time fee. It's $169 if you purchase the package in advance, around $200 if you purchase it after you've already arrived. Now this definitely may sound like a big purchase, but it is one of the things I will forever budget to get because it's the most beneficial thing. You get all your photos for that one price, download them, and you can do with them whatever you want. That includes all the ones that are taken by PhotoPass, all the ones that are taken on the rides. They do little animated ones, like we had the littles hold their hand out and Tinkerbell was landing in it. I think Memory Maker is like the one thing that everybody absolutely should get. And you can link your entire party. Like we kept splitting up, but we would split up, whereas like the adults and older kids would go on, say, Rock and Roller Coaster. Well, the littles couldn't go on it, so they went to Disney Junior Dance Party. And there's pictures from both groups that we all got to see and we all got to download if we want because our entire party was linked. We ended up with like 3,000 photos for the entire week, basically.
Here's the second part of the lost footage, but going on the PhotoPass thing. So not only is it awesome that like the group can split up and you can still get your pictures from everybody, but they also have PhotoPass at like different resorts if that resort has character meet and greets or anything like that. Like we ended up going to Polynesian resort, and we went to Ohana for breakfast, and they had Pluto there, and we were able to get a picture with Pluto at the resort. So that's super cool as well.
So definitely, if there's one thing you're going to splurge on with your Disney World vacation, make sure it's the Memory Maker, again, during normal times. PhotoPass photographers usually can even take your phone. If you don't want to have to buy the photo, but you want a picture of you and your girlfriends in front of the castle or something like that, PhotoPass photographers will take your phone and take your pictures for you. They're not going to force you to have to buy theirs. Unfortunately, right now, they cannot do that for safety reasons. They can't touch your phone, but usually you can ask and they have no problem with it. DAS stands for Disability Accessible Service. This is another one that I'm definitely going to make a more detailed video for. Quickly, I'm just going to let you know this is a disability package, basically. If you have someone that cannot physically stand in line and wait for half an hour, 4 hours, then they can get the DAS and not have to physically wait in the standby line. So this is for people with autism, sensory overload issues, leg problems, anything like that. Any reason that you cannot wait in the line, then you can go to guest services and qualify for a DAS. Quickly, basically what it is, say you went to Jungle Cruise and the wait was 60 minutes. You would go up to the front, tell them that you have a DAS. Say it was noon. They would tell you to come back at 12:50. So you can't just jump on the line or on the ride and skip the line altogether. They'll tell you a comeback time, which would have been the time you were getting on the ride had you waited in standby line, if that makes sense. So they give you a comeback time, you come and you do walk through Fast Pass line and get on the ride. So you're not necessarily skipping the line. You're not getting on any sooner than you would have had you waited in the standby line, but you're not physically standing in the line. Quick tip, you can only have one of these booked at a time, so you can't go around the whole park booking DAS passes for every ride and then just sit there chilling waiting for your times to come up. And the person that has the DAS registered, you can link your whole party. So it's not like only that person goes on the ride and everybody can wait and everybody else has to wait in line. You can link your whole party, but the person that has the DAS has to be on the ride. They can't book it for you and then go chill out and you get to go on the ride. It doesn't work that way. It's an honor system. They're trying to keep everybody honest with it. Please don't take advantage of this. Mobile order, like I talked about earlier, it runs through My Disney Experience. Every restaurant and every park is on the app, and basically you just go on and you order your food, and then when you get to the restaurant, you click that you're here and they'll get your food ready. So instead of having to wait in line to order your food and then pay and then wait for them to cook it, you're basically just waiting in line for them to cook it. So if you're on one end of the park and you're going to a restaurant on the other end, order your food and pay for it then while you're walking, and by the time you get there, your food will be ready. You do have to purchase it through the app, so if you're paying cash, this isn't going to work. But it does take dining. If you're on the dining plan and you're using dining credits, you can use it through my mobile ordering as well. The last category I want to talk about is just miscellaneous quick tips. These didn't really fit into a category because I'm not going to really elaborate on them. They're really quick miscellaneous things. So let's get into those. Number one, pay attention. There's so much attention to detail. It absolutely blows my mind every time I'm there. Like even the peanut shells in the ground around the Dumbo ride. Like the attention to detail is absolutely mind-blowing in every park. So while you're waiting in line, just look around and look at it all. If you have little independent kids, I highly suggest getting a backpack leash. We had one for my nephew and it was an absolute godsend. I remember seeing them before and thinking it was a little, I don't know. I was definitely like judging, but then when we had it for my nephew and I realized how effective it was, my opinion has completely changed. It's not uncomfortable to them. It's just like they're wearing a backpack, but then there's a string from the backpack to the mom. And again, he didn't want to sit in a stroller the whole time. He wanted to be walking around, but then he saw Mickey. He wanted to run. He was 3. He didn't understand having to wait in a line. He wanted to go see his best friend. So my sister-in-law was able to just hold on to that leash and he couldn't really take off. Or even just like walking in the busy crowds, right? If you happen to get a little bobo or a headache or forgot your sunscreen or anything like that, the first aid stations do sell Tylenol, Band-Aids, EpiPens, Powerade, etc., all that kind of stuff. So check out the first aid stations as well as the baby stations. Now there is only one of each in each park, unfortunately, but this baby station is somewhere where they have diapers, wipes, formula, baby food, anything you might have forgot. Or if you want to just get out of the heat with your baby, cool them down. If you want to breastfeed in private or change them, I mean, all the bathrooms have changing stations. But if you just want to sit in a rocking chair and chill them out for a little bit, then the baby stations are great. Going along with that is guest services. They actually have tape, scissors, glue, safety pins, anything that you wouldn't think to bring, they have it if you need it. But not just that, if you have any problems with your magic bands or your fast passes or anything, you go to guest services and they'll help you out. I know we had an issue where one of our magic bands somehow got unlinked and that person ended up losing their fast passes, but thankfully through guest services they were able to give us like a magic fast pass, which works for any ride, because if you went onto the app, that ride was already sold out. So guest services will absolutely fix any problem if they can. Maybe even give you a little extra magic if you're having a bad day. They don't have to, so you don't go up to them telling them they have to give you a free fast pass or they have to do this. No, they don't. They don't have to do anything. But they do choose to make your day more magical. This is also where you would get the celebration pins. So first visits, if you're celebrating an anniversary or if you're celebrating anything, they have like blank celebration ones that you can write it in yourself. You would get it at guest services. You can also get them at the front desk of your hotel, I'm pretty sure. There's a ton of free activities at the parks. I'm going to make a separate video about this as well, but there's scavenger hunts, pin trading, art lessons, cooking classes, the hidden Mickey stuff, right? Games throughout all the parks, learning about the animals at Animal Kingdom. So many free activities, free movie and campfire at Fort Wilderness. Definitely check out my other videos or other ones you find online, but But especially the activity guides at your hotel. Usually every hotel has something free, some sort of free activity going on that day as well. Whether it's like making tie-dye t-shirts or movie under the stars or something like that. You don't have to just be at the park to have fun and excitement. This is something I just found out about on our last trip. I didn't even know about this. Cast compliments. So if you have a cast member that does extraordinary work or anything like that, and you kind of just want to shout them out, if you have a Twitter account, you write your message and tag WDW and hashtag cast compliments, and Disney will actually recognize that person. They'll read off the tweet and they'll give them like a little certificate and stuff like that. Like they actually recognize these employees that go above and beyond. Obviously they can't oversee 75,000 employees, right? So they kind of rely on us to do that. And it's just an extra, they made your day extra special, so this is a way to return the favor. There's laundry services at all the hotels, whether it's self-serve and you want to do it yourself, like say you want to or have to pack lighter, then you can do your own laundry, or you can even send it away and pay a fee to have it get done that way. Package pickup. If you buy a souvenir, say in the beginning of the day, you buy a souvenir, you don't want to cart that bag around with you all day, risking it, possibly breaking, anything like that. You can actually purchase your souvenir and have it sent to the front of the park and pick it up on your way out. Or if you're staying for another night, I think it has to be either 24 or 48 hours. As long as you're staying for another 24 or 48 hours, you can actually have that sent right to your hotel. So you don't even have to leave the park with it. Reverse of that, you can have stuff shipped from your home to your hotel. If you're going at Christmas, you want to ship all your Christmas presents, all that kind of stuff. If you're ordering groceries online, Amazon groceries or Instacart, whatever they're called, you can have them sent to your hotel. And if your items get there before you do, concierge will hold it for you. No problem. They even have fridges and freezers if needed. Collectible popcorn buckets. These are a fun snack throughout the day. You do have to purchase the original popcorn bucket. I think it's about $7 or $8. And usually there's specifically, say a movie just came out or a holiday's coming up or something like that. They're fun and a lot of people actually collect them. Some of them sell out super quick, but you purchase the bucket and then you can get refills of the popcorn for just $2 for the entire time that you're there. I'm not even really a huge popcorn eater, but I found myself definitely reaching in the bucket while waiting in line or just randomly walking. It's a fun and it's a pretty healthy snack. If you're on the dining plan, you get refillable mugs. You can also purchase these as well. And once you purchase them the first time, you can fill them up for free with any soft drink as long as it's like a quick service. Any place, basically your hotel, but again, any restaurant that you fill up your own drinks, you can fill up your refillable water or refillable mugs for free at those places as well. It only lasts for the duration of your trip, so if you are staying an extra day, or like I said, what we did, we had to check out at 11, but we didn't leave until like 6 o'clock at night. Unfortunately, we wouldn't have been able to use our cups that day because once you check out of your hotel, that service ends. Like you can't refill up that bottle or that mug anymore. And last but not least, enjoy it. You've spent a lot of money to get there. You've probably spent a lot of time planning it. So enjoy it. Don't over plan. If I had to give one tip, that would probably be it. Don't over plan. I was so worried about making sure everybody was happy and everybody was doing something and not bored or whatever that I almost ruined my first 2 days there. I was so like overthinking it and so paranoid, and it wasn't until my brother was like, it's fine, we'll go do this, you guys go do that, I'm okay with that, that I was like, you know what? Yes, you're right. We're all on a once-in-a-lifetime trip, most likely, so obviously I can't plan everybody's day for them. Maybe they don't want to do what I want to do, even though I'm thinking I'm planning what they want to do. Maybe they just want to spend family time at the pool or whatever, right? So don't overplay. Not even just that, even if it was just your family. Don't plan your day from morning till night, because you'll find yourself running and stressed out. And if something messed up, which we all know it does, if you're late for one thing, all of a sudden you're late for everything else. One thing goes off the rails, your entire day is ruined. Don't do that. Don't overplan. Obviously, book your fast passes, book your dining reservations if you have any. Just go with the flow. And trust me, I'm a control freak when it comes to planning like that as well. I'm a wedding planner, I'm a party planner. I plan everything right down to the T. So I don't want to hear those excuses about needing to plan everything. I get that. But honestly, I didn't fully start enjoying my vacation until I stopped worrying about all the plans. So don't overplan. Enjoy every single moment of it and make those memories with you and your kids and your loved ones. Just remember to enjoy it. Things are going to go wrong. There's no way you're going to have an absolutely perfect vacation. So enjoy every moment of it, even the ones that do go wrong.
Hey guys, I'm jumping on here to let you know that I want to do a giveaway. I'm currently at 394 subscribers, and yes, although that is considered a small channel, I want to show my appreciation to each and every one of you. I absolutely love the support, and I'm so thankful for your continued support, because I know I've been slacking over the last couple months with uploading consistently and stuff, but you guys have still been there for me, and I promise that's going to change. It's one of my goals for 2021. Anyways, to show my appreciation, I want to do a giveaway. Since this is a Disney themed video, the giveaway this time is going to be a Disney stuffy. So here are the buddies. Look at all the options, and they're constantly coming out with more. There's so many to choose from. And of course, because they're Scentsy buddies, they make your room smell so good. But I want to do a giveaway every time I hit like a big milestone. So all you have to do to enter the giveaway is, of course, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and make sure that your account is not set at private. Apparently you can do that. I didn't know. But if it's set to private, I can't see that I can't see your name. I can't see that you are subscribed. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. You just have to be subscribed or following all three of those socials. All the links are down below, of course. And lastly, just comment on this video, what is your favorite Disney movie? Just so I know that you want to be entered into the draw, of course. Here's the kicker. If you send somebody to my channel, even if they don't want to join into the giveaway, as long as they tell me that you sent them my way, you will get an extra ballot into the draw. So I'm going to keep this open till February 1st, 2021. This video is going to go live on January 10th. So you still got 21 days. Thank you once again for your continued support and I want to show my appreciation. So thank you.
Hopefully those helped make your next Disney vacation the perfect-ish vacation that it can be. Hopefully I answered any questions you had and maybe taught you a couple things you didn't know beforehand. Don't forget, if this is the kind of content that you enjoy, hit that subscribe button, become part of the squad. If you learned anything and I gave you some helpful tips and tricks, smash that like button. It really, really is a free way that you can help me and my channel out. Let me know in the comments below anything that I may have missed. If you have a special tip or trick that you like to do on your vacations, maybe I'll make a part 2 of this. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys. No. So, no. So, no, that's changed. What's the word I was thinking of? Okay, yeah. Transportation. What? Nope, scratch that. What? How does it work? It even has the extra one part where oh my god. No, oops. Oh, oops. Also, PhotoPass, right? Oh, I said video too many times. Thumbnail time. Hey, hold on. Boop, I'm turning my camera. Daisy, they're gonna know I'm filming in the bathroom.